We've come to COP with a very clear agenda in our mind. One is to really change how we access funds. So the Caribbean has been struggling for a long time to get the OECD and ODA to classify us on a vulnerability index and not just on a per capita GDP. So thanks to the United Kingdom government, Prime Minister Theresa May and the Minister Hammond, that they were able to bring about that change at the last OECD meeting. The next thing that we're really focusing on is getting resources, a dedicated resource. So we're here working collectively together, not only as the Caribbean, but as small island developing states, collectively together, 51 of us, to try to get a motion passed at COP to allow the SIDS to be able to move on, that a special fund will be made available to them, coming from developed countries, as well as the possibility of private funds. We're also working with CDB on a new mechanism or new protocol in how do we able to draw down on those funds. So we're currently, every time that we need to apply for monies, there's a different mechanism that we have to utilize for different agencies. We're trying to see if we can harmonize all of those into one package. What that would allow us to do as countries is to go ahead and prepare the project proposals and create what we call shovel-ready projects, and then now start looking for the monies, because what's happening is we have to find the monies first and then prepare the project proposal, and it becomes very, very cumbersome. The next thing that we're looking at is working with the IMF to see how we can classify resilience funding. So if we have to build new roads and put the utilities underground and fix up our rivers, it's going to increase the debt burden of our country significantly. And we cannot continue to grow our economy the traditional way if in fact we have to take on this financial burden. So there's a meeting taking place in Jamaica on the 16th in which some of the leaders of the region, under the auspices of Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, will be meeting specifically with the IMF. At the following week, we have a meeting in New York that is being put together by Secretary Guterres, the head of the UN, to specifically see how we can access funds for the CARICOM region. We're also hoping to have a meeting with the ambassadors from the SID countries while we're in New York. One of the things we've recognized that we must speak with one voice, and the 51 SID countries must start using their vote at the UN to elect countries and people to the different boards that are going to be sympathetic towards the SID conflict, meaning getting funds available and making sure that policy is there to support us in our time of need. And I think that probably the greatest message that we're bringing here to the meeting is that all these policies and all the things that we're doing have to resound to the benefit of the individual people in our country. It can't just be about a global idea. It must affect and change people's lives. And we've said that what the smaller island development states lack in economies of scale, that we must make up in economies of speed. And those policies must, one, quickly resonate to the people on the ground. So the SDG goals, in our mind, which are very, very important, will only be implemented if in fact individuals have a house, if they have access to healthcare, if they have access to education, and they're feeling secure. And so those are some of the policies that on a global context that we need to see changed, because it's not resounding to the benefit of the individual country. Dr. Rigobert is here, and she's dealing specifically with Saint Lucia on a national basis and our SDG goals, and identifying projects that help us in terms of reducing the emissions and also in terms of building more resilience. I'm here in my capacity as chairman of the OECS and also as the lead prime minister for CARICOM in sustainable development. So the two of us are working very much in tandem on a regional basis and an international basis, as well as making sure that whatever we're doing benefits Saint Lucia and that we're able to move our development programs speedily ahead.